Grill This, Smoke That is brought to you by Furtado Farms. For all your outdoor cooking needs, they're your premium source for cookwood. Whether it's pellets, chips, chunks, or logs, they've got you covered. Visit furtadofarms.ca for more info.
Kettleman's Bagels is proud to support Grill This, Smoke That. Kettleman's, makers of wood-fired Montreal-style bagels using only premium ingredients. With 3 Ottawa locations, Kettleman's menu is available 24/7, 365 days a year. Grill This, Smoke That is generously supported by Oven Brothers, makers of handcrafted Canadian-made wood-burning outdoor ovens for inspired chefs. Visit us at ovenbrothers.ca. Oven Brothers, from our family's backyard to yours.
Okay, these berries should be ready. Wow. They look good. They smell awesome. They're softened up and they're a little bit smoky. Let's go to the table. Blackberries are out of the smoke.
Oh, they smell so good.
So we have already a bunch that we smoked beforehand. And what's happening in your pot?
Just started cooking it down. So we're making the smoked Blackberry Coulis.
Okay.
And I love a coulis. It's just a fancy name for a sauce.
Absolutely.
Super versatile. You can put it over ice cream and yogurt. I'm going to get you to share one of your favorite uses for it in a minute. Right. Also great as a base for different salad dressings to add a flavor profile to that. So these ones are cooking, and while they're cooking, I'm going to add in some balsamic, again for layering flavor, and also maple syrup, because blackberries are not too sweet, so we want to sweeten it up a little bit because it is going to be used as a sauce.
Why your choice of maple syrup? I know I love it more than any other.
It's back to New Brunswick again. I mean, to me, it's the Canadian sweetener. Honey's coming along, and that's great, but I find honey has a different flavor. It's a lot sweeter in my mind, and I can even smell the maple now, and it just seems, I figure it comes from the woods, right? And berries come from the woods. Smell that.
I
It's
just
so
got
good.
a waft of that. That's wow.
And I like to think about places like New Brunswick. There is a big Indigenous population there, and the early settlers would have learned from their Indigenous neighbors. Like, they probably didn't know blackberries, to my knowledge. I don't think they grow in Europe, so they would have been watching and seeing that this is something edible. They learned about certainly tapping maple trees from their Indigenous neighbors. So it's kind of fun to bring those things together when we're looking at a province that has a really diverse culinary history. I mean, we're talking fish, lots of potatoes, there's cattle farming as well, but not to a great extent, and then all these beautiful products that can just be found right there in the bounty of the land.
Wow, it smells so good.
So you taught me about a neat use for coulis, which was to put it on cake, but not just any cake. What do you like to do with cake?
Well, essentially, I'll make a really nice pound cake, and I'll spray it with a little bit of butter, and I'll grill it. You can either grill it directly on high heat on an open grill, or you can actually use stone and griddle it on stone, so you have a nice flat.
Haven't tried that.
Well, you did a French toast.
Yes.
That just blew my mind, and I'm thinking that
would
be amazing. But what do you do with your French toast?
So typical, you mix up the egg, and I like to put whipping cream because why not?
Sure.
In with the egg, you've got your nice thick cut bread, and I usually use like a homemade challah, something like that. Yeah. After the egg dip, then you've got a dish of cornflake crumbs.
Weird part.
It sounds weird, but it's breakfast. It's cornflakes.
Absolutely.
And you take the slices out of the egg, dip them in the cornflake crumbs, and then fry them up in lots of butter.
I made it the day I read your article.
And? Loved it? Good.
I took it one step further, and I used a croissant.
So good.
I know, but I had these really old croissants on the counter that were like 5-6 days old and hard.
You saved them.
I was about to smash them into breadcrumbs, and I did your French toast with the cornflakes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea with the croissants.
It's a textural difference.
It's that crunch that you get, and I like it's much like when you grill things. I love that crispy edge on the meat and so on. So putting that extra.
I don't order prime rib at the restaurant anymore. I order a steak because I want that char and that caramelization and that little.
And then it yields to the tenderness inside. So the French toast is kind of the same thing.
Mind you, prime rib would be really good right now too.
I would eat that at any
Seriously,
time of day.
who's kidding
It'd probably be
me?
good with this coulis on it. Who knows? So it's been bubbling away here for quite a few minutes, and you're looking again for some reduction, and that'll thicken the sauce a little bit.
Okay.
And then there's two ways you can process it from here. If you don't have a fancy high-speed blender
Right.
like this Vitamix, then you can just pass it through a sieve.
Okay.
And you're going to push down a little bit on it so that some of the solid material makes its way through the sieve, and that's going to help to thicken it. But of course, this is just so much faster. So I'll get you to pour that in there.
Absolutely. So essentially we just pour all the liquid into the Vitamix.
Yep.
And the Vitamix really, it does all the work that you could possibly imagine. It will pulverize this and get rid of all the seeds. So as you see, it's just macerating everything, making a little bit of a mess. Don't want to burn my hand. And again, like Paula said, if you want to pass this through a fine mesh strainer afterwards, that's great. I personally, I don't mind a little bit of seed. Doesn't bother me one bit. But the Vitamix, the seeds are no longer there. I trust you on that one. So there we go.
Wow, that's a lot faster than doing it the manual way.
Well,
I like
you know
that.
what? I've always been told, buy it once, buy it right.
Uh-huh.
And you know,
Do you want to have a taste
go
before
ahead.
you, well,
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm feeding you? No, I
No,
think
no,
you should
you're
feed
feeding
you.
yourself.
Oh, okay, all right.
Absolutely. It's your recipe, Paula.
Perfect.
There we
Just
go.
perfect. It's nice because it's not too sweet. I find that there's too many overly sweetened things in our world these days. So
Did we do it again?
do what again?
Did we do just the right amount?
Just the right amount.
Nice.
It's perfect. So you can serve this warm. It's ready to roll just right now as it is, but it'll also refrigerate beautifully. And what's really nice is it freezes well. So when berries are in season, grab them, smoke them, cook them down. You can fill these jars not too full to leave room for freezing, or you
Right.
can put them in other vessels for freezing. You can even freeze it in freezer bags, and then when it's time to drizzle it on your fruit or on your grilled pound cake, just snip the corner of the bag, and it's an instant piping bag to drizzle it on really easily.
Awesome. What a great tip, Paula, and what a great recipe. Looking forward to having this. All I know is I'm thinking that would be amazing on duck.
Duck with blackberry sauce is like one of my favorite dishes ever, so this is just next level.
Awesome. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you.
Today's tip is chunks versus chips. Chips are very, very small pieces of wood that combust very quickly. Chunks are larger pieces of wood that will smolder a long time. So if you're doing something like a bread that needs to be smoked and only should be in the smoker for at the most 40 or 50 seconds, I would use chips because they put out a tremendous amount of smoke in a concentrated amount of time. If I'm doing something like a prime rib roast or a pork shoulder or a full turkey, large piece of meat, I will use large chunks. And those chunks will smolder over a longer period of time so I don't have to keep going back to my smoker and replenishing wood. Very simple. It's all about combustion. Chips versus chunks. It's all a matter of the application.